Hi friend, today the podcast is going to be related to a post that Pratap Bose, the VP Design of Mahindra, wrote on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. And this is the third time that Pratap is saying and writing about the car design field and how young designers should be prepared in order to become good car designers already in school, and what it takes, to become or to be considered a car designer today. I have to tell you that on my channel on YouTube, you will find a long interview that I made to Pratap Bose, who I know since several years. During this interview, we already talked about this aspect of the car design education that is producing a lot of designers, young designers, of which a lot of them will not find a job, and the reasons behind the failure in finding a job. So now that Pratap is really at the head, is a very important man in the car design industry, of course he is worried about how to feed with young designers and young talents all the design centers that he has to manage. And therefore, because he has been always very much interested and involved with car design schools, he keeps on making, this interaction with design schools. And every time he goes and visits those design schools, in my opinion, for what he wrote, he is always sort of deceived about the results. And then he starts, of course, thinking seriously that we really have a big problem in design education in the field of transportation design today. A problem that is becoming stronger and stronger, as many times I said also during one of my videos here on my YouTube channel. Okay, I think that what he wrote, it's really correct, that he had a lot of courage in writing down really extremely clearly exactly what's going on. In my opinion, there is a real difference between how the design education industry, which means the design schools and university all over the world, approach today the design education about car design. Pratap post received a lot of comments. And one of them was really interesting, said, finally somebody dropped the bomb. Let's analyze a little bit together what's going on. So I divided this podcast in three main key points that we will analyze together. And then I will give you my conclusion. But before analyzing this, I just would like to remind you, just in case you don't know or you forgot, or for those that don't know, that I have been a chair of transportation design department for 10 years at Istituto Europeo di Design at the beginning of this experience in Torino, in Italy. During those 10 years, I remember that I imposed only one request. Actually, two requests I had. The first one was that I would not have more than 25 students per class per year. So this means that every year we would have 25 students coming into the design department according to the year, okay? So every year we would have only roughly 20 or 19 or 18, only this number of people per year getting their bachelor. Now, this was in 95, 94, 95 until 2001. Then I moved to France to work for Renault, and I could not work for the school anymore. So things changes, and today I know that they have two classes of 30 people, so 60. So you see the big difference. Now, when I was chairman of the transportation design department, I would look at that time around 400, 450 requests of admission. Most of them did not have a portfolio. There was just a letter, a motivation letter saying, it's my passion, I really want to become a car designer, I want to come to your school. And of course, those ones, without any design, any sketch, any entry portfolio, have been discarded right away by myself. Then I had about 150, 200 that did have a sort of an entry portfolio. That time was not very well organized like today we do. Between all those, I would pick up the 25 best entry portfolios. So you understand that with this approach, the school was having always the best potential car design students. The objective was exactly this one, to make sure that the school could get the best potential car design students. And why did I do that? Because I went to Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. I spent 4 years over there, and I've been through a very difficult program, very difficult also to be admitted. First time I failed, second time they took me. Now you're asking yourself, why the first one, no, the second? Because the first time my entry portfolio was the wrong one. I was not showing my best potential, and I did not really understand how to put together an entry portfolio. So I got a letter from Art Center saying, in order to, you can try again once more, but we're really looking for this, and this. Then I took some extra art classes because I was making college in America. And that helped me out to improve the quality of my entry portfolio in terms of content and quality. When I say quality, I mean sketching quality, skills quality. So I worked 1 extra year. My example is Art Center. My example was that one, and I wanted to bring in Italy the same strict, rules that I went through in order to find entry quality, and also to give discipline, sense of responsibility about this type of job, because as you know, this is a very rare job. It's not that every morning we can wake up and say, you know what, mom, I'm gonna become a car designer. And she says, okay, fine, go and enroll to university and we're gonna have a car designer. It doesn't work that way. You probably can do that as a doctor, as an engineer, in any field. But when you come to design, especially car design, it's very, very particular, very, very selective, competitive. As I say all the time, worldwide, even if today we have more job offers, there are not that many more compared to my times. The first point from Pratap Bose post is too many students with a bachelor in car design. And then when you go and look every single portfolio, you'll discover that the big majority is poor quality. So when we look at this, we understand that we probably are in front of a bunch of car design schools or design university or engineering design university that open up the car design department, because this is happening since quite a few years in India, in Italy, also in France. It's starting to be almost everywhere, where you understand that probably we are entering officially the design education. It's thinking probably more about profit than quality. And when you are in front of that, you create a big inflation of potential car designers that in reality they don't have that potential, because the majority of them are accepted in those schools or go to master programs without any right background or starting point, quality starting point, in order to really aim and hope to do all the necessary steps in order to get that bachelor and then play the big game and find a real job. Too many and poor quality. So that's the first one. The second thing is the illusion, because the illusion is becoming a key element in this game that is starting to become a little bit perverse, When I make a video on my YouTube channel to say how difficult it is to become a car designer, how difficult it is to get your portfolio to the highest level in order to play the game with the good, talented designers, young designers from all over the world, and get probably that 1 or 2% of job openings, a lot of people tell me, but I thought it was not like that. It's incredible. I wasted my 5 years of school or 4 years of school. I cannot reach a better quality. So this is the classical results of somebody, and there are many like that got in those design schools with a promise to say, don't worry, over here you will have all the experience and all the tools to become a good designer and put together a very good portfolio. And then when you go out, you will be facing a hard reality in which you will understand that when you go out from that school and you compare yourself to the best from the good design schools that do have a very strong and strict selection, your portfolio will not look like the others, will not have the same quality, the same level. And therefore, If at the same time all of you guys are looking for a job and you apply for a job admission to the same companies, the companies will compare, will look at those portfolios, and then they will say, yeah, this guy is very good, but still, compared to the other guy from the other school, the other guy is better. And you will fall behind. And that's normal. It's a selection. And because in car design we are reaching a really high quality, then there is a third aspect for which I think that there's been a change in the last 10, 15 years, 20 years. When I was a student, there were lots of companies passing by the school to sponsor projects. And that was great because we were exposed to real design managers, real designers, from real company, real car design studios. And we would learn during 4-6 months of sponsor project, we could make a project for them. We were presenting to them. They would come and help us, but they would also look at the best students. So there was an interaction that was a continuous interaction between the industry and the design school. And in that time, this was not only in USA, it was almost in all the design schools of that time. And when I became chair of the transportation design department at IED in Torino, I also created this. We started with Fiat, of course, at that time. I was working at Fiat. We had a project from Fiat, Alfa Romeo, also with Jaguar. So we start going outside Italy. You see, because the school was becoming more popular, the results were quite satisfying, and therefore other companies start getting very curious of opening a collaboration with the school. Now, since 10, 15 years, this thing has changed. In America, it's always the same, but in Europe, it's less. And this is another problem of creating talents or helping talents to get a job in car design. Because as Pratap's saying is that where is the car design industry? How are they really helping the design education institutions to understand what they really need? Because if those two worlds don't talk to each other, or if they just do it because it's a nice post on Instagram and it's only for image and just for nice title in an article, that's not enough. That's not good. How can a design school, so how they can grow, how can they understand what is the real need in terms of making a preparation, a formation, training for those young people that come to that school? This is a little bit the global message that Pratap gave writing his post on LinkedIn. And I have to say that I agree 100% because I'm saying those things also since a long time. And sometimes I get some comments in my videos, like people that did a master coming from engineering department. After the engineer, they have a strong passion for car design, for cars. They go, they get accepted to a master, they spend 15,000, 20,000 or whatever. And after they are 30 years old and they cannot find a job. At 30 years old, it's very hard to find a job because I already hired somebody with a bachelor that is a real talent and his age is 23. So with 7 years of difference, how can you imagine that somebody can hire you? I mean, you guys, this is the last message, that he gave. Please think about it. If you're a young, passionate about car design, that's not enough. You must have a talent. Okay, you will say, yeah, but how do I know if I have talent? But today it's so easy. You can write to me, okay, on Instagram, on my YouTube channel, write a comment. I will answer back. There are a lot of people that send me emails. I put the email down here and say, can you look at my portfolio? Can you look at my sketches? Do you think I can go to car design school? And I always give an answer. You can, if I see that you have a sort of a talent, but you really need to prepare an entry portfolio, what I can do for you, I can suggest you to do a couple of months of online training course. I give one. There are other friends of mine online that do the same thing. So you can prepare yourself. Today, you can do lots of things in order to have a feedback and think, with this feedback, what do I do? Do I go for it, investing money, or it's better I go to engineering or architecture? And for those that are in engineering, that got their bachelor and they would like to make a master, okay, but believe me, you should have your master completed around the age of 26, 27 maxi. But if you are outside that range of age, 26, 27, it's gonna be difficult, very difficult, because the car design industry, it's not looking for a master in car design. They are looking for a good young student that has a professional recognized title, educational title, bachelor in transportation design, and that has a very strong and talented portfolio, high quality portfolio. And if this person is young, it's much better because the age has to do something with creativity. And we hire young people mainly for their creativity. Because when they come into the studio, then they will learn with the time. They will learn more about the technical aspects, how you make a car, the management of a project, because there is a planning and why we follow planning, and which are all the activities we make that are different from a school, of course. School is just a summary, a very fast summary of what will be at work, but at work it's a lot more. Young designers will learn that, but at the first part of their life into any car design studio, they are paid for their creativity, according to their creative and talented portfolio. All right? Talk to your parents. Check before you take the decision. Think about it. This is also the last advice that Pratap gave in his post. You have to understand that you cannot imagine that there are 1,000 extra new brands, automobile brands that will come out from today to the next 10 years. It's impossible. So they are always the same, in which only the main big groups always survive, but they are not multiplying by 1.5 or 2 their creative forces. They are not. And if there are too many car design schools out there, you have to think about this. So or you are a very strong talent and you go for the very good strong schools that are not that many, or you will become a sort of student lambda that goes into a design schools, and after we don't know what you will do once you get your bachelor. But strong chances is that you will not work in car design. Okay, thank you very much for listening to me. Put your like, subscribe if you are new. If you want to comment, I'll be very happy to answer to your comments. If you need my help, you got my email, you can write in chat. And please go and check Pratap Bove's post on LinkedIn, following the link I put in the comment, okay, in the description. All right? Thank you very much. Ciao.